Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. Here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you guys to meet. This here is Jason Laliberte. He's an offensive tackle out of St. in Minnesota. Nice to have you today, sir.
Thank you for having me, Jimmy.
Hey, wanted to get an opportunity to meet you and kind of learn more about your story. I mean, the obvious is, of course, you're a monstrous guy on the offensive line, but I kind of want to, understand more about you as a prospect because I mean, we're looking at one of the top offensive tackles in the FCS. So, Jason, go ahead and get us started and introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Jason Laliberte Jr. From Maple Grove, Minnesota. I play left tackle here, University of St. Thomas. Um, and yeah,
Okay. Well, let's try and get some of the earlier days of you out of the way for people so that they can get a chance to learn more about you. Again, as you had mentioned, from Maple Grove, and want to see how long actually have you played football? Let's start with that.
yeah. So I actually didn't play football until my sophomore year of high school. It's kind of just like fresh out of a movie. My head football coach was my foundations teacher at the time. So my sophomore year of high school, he saw me in the hallways, asked me to come out to practice, see if I enjoyed it. And that was something I really wasn't used to. I grew up in a basketball family. My father and my two brothers, I grew up playing basketball. So that football was never something in the back of my mind as a kid growing up and what I wanted to be or pursue. But sophomore year, Mr. Matt Lombardi truly changed my life. He came up to me, gave me a shot, believed in me, and ever since then, I just fell in love with it. So
Cool. So, again, mostly a basketball guy. I mean, typically when you have a guy who's 6'7", probably looks more like 6'9" with the hair, if we're being fair. So, I'm sorry, I just had to say that because I thought it would be fun. But yeah, big, tall guy. And wasn't always a football player, but mostly basketball. So, talk about the earlier days for you, man. Give me one of your fondest memories from high school before we move on.
oh man, I would say my favorite memories was probably some of the most painful times during football. If you know Matt Lombardi, you know he loves conditioning. Um, I would say just the guys coming together in the summer, just battling out those conditioning days. Doing the time 10, 40-yard sprints and the 300-yard shuttles. It really builds a different kind of brotherhood in your locker room. And some of those guys, I still talk to this day, and I'll love forever and cherish those moments forever. Just because we went through that struggle together as brothers in the locker room. So definitely not fun at the time. I didn't really see, the benefits of it, especially starting out football. Um, but yeah, those conditioning days, I would say, are my favorite times for sure.
Cool. Well, definitely growing you as a football player in the early years with some tough love, of course. And so played basketball and football there at Grove before you moved on. Talk about the recruiting, man. Was it always going to be St. Thomas, since it's, kind of right down the street from you? I mean, how'd you end up there?
Yeah, so I unfortunately had to deal with COVID my senior and junior year. So very different from the normal natural recruiting process. I was sending out pretty much my film of my junior year, whatever I had. That was my full year. Sending that out and then kind of getting into contact with some coaches around Minnesota and North Dakota and South Dakota and some smaller FCS schools like that. And my senior year, our season actually got cut short, leaving the fifth game in through the season. So whatever you had, and whatever you were in contact with, you're in contact with. So I believe the schools I was talking to was a couple of D2 schools in Minnesota, NDSU, South Dakota, stuff like that, and then St. Thomas, obviously. And you know, during that COVID, that really tough time, um, during the recruiting process, Coach Kaczynski and Coach Caruso really stood out to me. Calling me every day, asking how I was doing, how's football, how's life, how's my family. And when I mean every day, I mean every day. Coach K would call me. We'd have 20-minute conversations about, it could be life, it could be football. And that's something that these guys, stand by, and they're true to their word. They're still like that. We talk all the time. And St. Thomas just stood out, um, not as a university, but as a football team as well, just throughout everything. So it was a no-brainer for me when making my decision my senior year.
Cool. Well, obviously they were the ones who took a chance on you. I mean, they wanted to bring you in. I mean, and I think, bro, not just you, but I think a lot of people during that time period, they're suffering through what COVID has dealt them. I mean, you're kind of, I don't know, a little short when it comes to some of the recruiting stuff going on, at least in previous years, and so you kind of have to run with what you get. But St. Thomas not a bad program to be a part of, man. So talk about that school again there in St. Paul, Minnesota. What's it like being a student there? So talk about student life overall.
Yeah, I love it, honestly. It kind of reminds me of high school. I am graduated, so I'm a fifth year. So I'm only in one class right now. But my time here, I was a finance major. Um, Class sizes are pretty small. It's usually 20 to 30 kids, so you really got that one-on-one connection with your professor. Beautiful campus, lots of places, to sit and study. We got great faculty staff like Michelle Smithway, our academic counselor. She's great. She does all our study table hours. And yeah, I just love it. Football stadium is great. Our athletic facilities, we're continuing to build on them. We just about to finish the Anderson Student Center. That's going to hold our hockey arena and a new basketball arena. So it's just been really cool to see this campus progress since I've been attending here in 2021 and now 2025. It's just been really cool to see the growth of this place, not just as sports.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a program that has been building. Um, and I know, again, just for people that are listening, I mean, you're probably in a place that you often go to. So, I mean, we know it is a little loud, unfortunately, but how is the background over there? Like, where are you at?
Yeah, you want to see? You want to take a look?
Not exactly, but if you want to, go for it.
Oh, okay. This is just one of our on-campus dining halls, I guess you could say. It's just like a restaurant. You just come in here, you can do a mobile order for food, use your dining dollars. We got pool tables in here, projector that plays, sports. That's why of the noise, unfortunately. But everyone is always around on campus. That's why it's kind of hard to find places to do stuff like this. So, but it's
Well,
beautiful
definitely
here.
very, very welcoming, having a lot going on, some comfortable places to hang out, right?
Yeah,
Shoot some pool if that's what you're into. Obviously, there's a couple guys in the background doing that.
yeah,
But let's get talking about some football. I mean, football there, that program, it has been growing, has been doing fairly well there. You guys are playing in the Pioneer League. And really, competing with all of these guys. Oftentimes, when we think about the Pioneer League, it's kind of very similar to that of the Ivy League in some ways, where they focus very heavily on academics. And so, as you had mentioned, finance got so you have that you have that under your belt, but just to be able to say that you've been through a school program and have a you know and have something to show for it is kind of nice. But again, want to talk about the football side of things. Talk about this offense, man. Describe it a little bit, and you're rolling.
yeah. So we just got a new offensive coordinator, pretty much new offensive staff. I love these guys; they're great. It's kind of been the newest offense since I've been here since 2021. It's a lot of trade shift motions, throwing the ball, passing the ball. It's very balanced, and it's been working. And I love playing for coaches that love to try new things. Coach Mack does a great job. Um, and my new offensive line coach, Coach Hags, is actually the first coach I've had since being here that actually played the position. And he was 3-year starter at the University of Colorado, so the team captain. So he's doing great. He's kind of perfecting my game, just with a little technique and stuff like that. And just I meet with him once a week, just things on getting better, stuff like that. So he's great. Everyone on the offensive staff is doing a great job so far this year. And we're excited to get into our conference schedule next week.
Cool. Well, as it stands right now, you guys are sitting 2-1 on the year. Again, this is the stage at which we're having this conversation for people that might be listening to this later down the line. Um, as far as what I can tell, most of your starts have actually been at right tackle, but you are starting at left tackle this year, really giving us an opportunity to see your pass blocking abilities. When we do go back and we look at previous years there at St. Thomas, we're looking at a very heavy run game. Talk about some of the other pieces of that offense, man. Because I mean, obviously you had a stud running back that you guys could just lean on in previous years, but maybe shifting and doing some other things this year. But talk through some of your teammates.
Yeah, every year since I've been here, it's just we've had a very deep running back room, and it's awesome as offensive lineman when you're blocking for it could be 3 starters in the backfield, and they run hard, they're explosive. Guys like Gabe Abel, going into his senior year, he's been playing. I've been blocking for him for about 3 years now. Guys like Joe Cook, they run hard, and that's something I can appreciate as offensive linemen because they make us look good in the bad times, and we make them look good in the bad times. So it's a very good chemistry. The running backs in the room, they're kind of the life of the team. They're all characters, and they're just the glue guys. It's awesome. And then we got great quarterbacks. I've blocked for a lot of great quarterbacks like Cade Sexauer. He was left-handed, so I kind of got that blindside feeling when I was at right tackle in my sophomore year. And Andy Peters is really coming into his shoes this year. Transferred from Idaho. Great guy. He's been doing outstanding, and it's great to have multiple leaders at different positions on the offense, just to kind of blend that team together. And it's obviously working well, as you can see from our 3 games. So
Yeah, obviously some other pieces to that offense that are working just fine. Kind of wanted to get at least one comment, if you will. There's actually a pretty decent tight end that often is blocking next to you. Can we get a little insight into who that guy is next to you?
yeah, well, I think all the tight ends are great, but I think you're talking about Patrick Wagner. Great kid. He's probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. Very down to earth. If you see him out in public, you wouldn't think, he's this nasty dog like he is on the football field. But it's great. I love walking next to guys that are dirty, not dirty, but explosive and just
Gritty, I
nasty
think is a
football.
better
Gritty,
word.
yeah, just nasty on the football field, and he's really shined these past couple of years. I remember him being a freshman. He was kind of more a receiving tight end. But as injuries and guys leaving, he kind of stepped into that role of being a dominating blocking tight end, and he's been doing great this year. And I'm really excited to see what he can do in conference this year.
Well, let's shift gears back towards you as a player. I mean, again, we're looking at a very big guy on the offensive line. Like we had mentioned, most of your starts at right, although you're starting now at left tackle. Really big wingspan. We're looking at a wingspan of almost 7 feet. With a guy like you out there, what do you feel separates you from other guys at your position? What are some of your best traits as a prospect?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely, one of, if not the hardest working guy in the locker room. one thing I thrive myself on is bringing guys together in the locker room, and that's just kind of how I play my best football. Like you said, I feel like I use my length to my advantage in the pass game and in the run game. And as we said briefly earlier, making my transition to left, so I've played both sides of the ball, right and left tackle. So I feel like I'm very versatile, being able to, basically flip everything as an offensive lineman and do it in a short amount of time at a high level, and being able to start at both sides. Feel as if I'm very explosive, um, very gritty on the field, and just my IQ as well. Playing Division I football for this is my 5th year now, so 5 years. Just very smart. I feel like so.
Yeah, I mean, I think something like I think this is your third year as a starter, or something along those lines, or where it's kind of weird because I mean, I think it's like 2.5 years prior to this year, so you're working on a third and a half year or something like that. But veteran guy on the offensive line is essentially what I'm getting at, and you have a lot of experience, coming into this season, versatility as we had already mentioned. I want to talk through some of your highlights, if you don't mind. One of the games that I feel really sets you guys apart, when we're looking at that sort of grit, toughness, and just the ability to dominate up front. You guys had a game against University of San Diego where it was just I don't know, you beat those guys up on the ground, over 300 yards on the ground rushing. Talk through that game, man. Can you remember any particular moment from that game? Because I mean, I know that there was like a really long, rush on the ground, that your stud running back did.
Yeah, that would be Hope Adebayo. As I mentioned earlier, the running backs, really played well that game, and I remember the week leading up into San Diego, as an offensive line room, the one thing for us was just sprinting off the ball and asserting dominance on the line of scrimmage from play one. And so that was my second game making the transition to left tackle because our starting left tackle, Alec Rasmussen, was injured. Um, so that was only my second game. So we were very reliant on running the ball left, running it all day, just giving the ball in playmakers' hands like Hope Adebayo, obviously. And he had a great day. I think he was the FCS player of the week that week. And we schemed him up offensively, and we just played a great game, I feel like. So that's definitely one of my highlights from last year, for sure.
Any other games or moments that stick out from last year? I mean, again, I was just kind of going through that. I mean, that was really the one game that I felt was absolutely dominating as your performance. I mean, when you're able to go out there and just kind of, I don't know, take over the clock in that game against San Diego and really just, kill these guys. Again, in my notes, 343 rushing yards in that game. But any other moment from last season?
I would say, our senior day is obviously great. That was home against Dayton, also another great team in the PFL. We knew that was going to be a tough one. Um, in that game, we ended up, I think it was pretty close. We ended up coming out with a W, though. So that was great. And I think it's hard to say, to pick a game. Obviously, games like San Diego one stands out, but I think me and the guys on the team just kind of buy into the process throughout the year, and we just enjoy every moment we have together. Um, but Dayton for sure, because that was when all my guys I came in with, that didn't have a redshirt year left, so that was kind of a good sending home moment. Going away with a win in a hard fought game. So
Cool. I mean, again, right now you guys are you've started off just fine. I mean, you're 2-1, as you had mentioned, starting conference play here soon. So in a way, I mean, things are still wide open. I mean, you guys haven't really, hit those opponents yet. So who's to say you guys can't win the conference, man? Any other, I don't know, goals this season?
I think the obvious one is to win the PFL. And one big thing for me as a freshman was getting that opportunity to be in the playoffs this year. So, we're not looking that far ahead. We kind of do, day by day process. But, obviously that's one thing that we want to do. It could be the first time in school history to go to playoffs and win at a high level at a D1 era. So that's definitely one thing I want to get into this year is, not just hanging up the pads after our senior day, is actually, getting to practice in the snow here in Minnesota and flying to Texas, playing in playoffs, seeing what we can do. So that's definitely something I'm really excited for.
I mean, definitely some great talent there for the Tommies. Well balanced defense and offensive play. Some great talent overall. So we'll see what's going to happen, man. A lot of great pieces to work with, and certainly a growing program to just kind of keep an eye on, for years to come. Jason, want to get an opportunity to step off the football field, see if there's more that we can learn about you that we maybe haven't already. Go ahead and share a little bit about yourself. If there's any fun, interesting topics, if you have like any special talents or dude, anything that you want to share about yourself, I'm all for it. So go for it.
Oh gosh, awesome. I'm kind of a boring guy. I base my life around sports, so I grew up around sports. That's all I do. That's what I love to do. I love basketball. That's something I did my entire life. In my free time, in the off season, I always try to get out there, play basketball. I love being outside. I love being with friends. And yeah, just in my free time, I'm either playing video games, working out, or playing basketball, and just doing stuff for football. So
Gotcha.
and
You a
spending time with
Timberwolves fan?
them. I am, yeah. It's hard when they got a lot of talent, but I feel like they can never finish in the playoffs. But hopefully they can figure some stuff out this year because they got a lot of young talent on that team that could do something great.
Well, for me personally, man, it's very hard for me to follow any other sport. So, I mean, it's always nice to see what else is going on out there in the world. So, Jason, I do have some other questions to ask you. Again, these have nothing to do with football. These are just for fun. So, humor me as I ask you some silly questions. So, uh, favorite ice cream flavor?
Cookie dough, probably.
Cookie dough. All right, that works. Uh, Perhaps, I mean, obviously, Minnesota guy, stayed in Minnesota. What's the farthest you've been from home, or do you have like a dream vacation spot?
Ooh, I think the furthest I've been from Minnesota was probably in middle school. I went on a cruise with my family to the Bahamas. Um, I think that was it, and that was an awesome trip. I haven't been on a cruise since, but I think that's the furthest I've ever been. I got a lot of teammates that live in California and Florida, obviously, and we have away games there. But I think my dream vacation though would probably, I'm not sure, maybe Europe. I had a lot of friends that studied abroad there this year. So yeah, probably Europe somewhere in there.
I mean, I would imagine growing up in Minnesota, anywhere that's warm.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's kind of fun. A couple more. Again, these are just for fun. So, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and say yeah. I mean, I think what you classify as a sandwich is bread, meat, bread. So I would say I'll be different here. I'll say yeah, hot dog is a sandwich. Because
Okay,
what
it's
else
a
would it be?
fun, silly, somewhat debatable
Yeah,
question. Appreciate that one. I know you're pretty much, football and everything else, but I mean, I'm just trying to dive in to see if there's anything more about you, if you're maybe a fan of certain things. So, um, do you identify any fandom in, I don't know, any, movie, TV, franchises? Like, are you a Star Wars guy, a Star Trek guy, a Harry Potter guy? Like, what is it for you that you have been following?
yeah. Honestly, no. I love Outer Banks. That's the one show I watch on Netflix. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, I would say Outer Banks is probably my favorite TV show for sure.
All right. Talk about your hometown there in Maple Grove. If there's maybe a place there that you want to give a shout out to or some people, but if I were to come visit you in Maple Grove, what would we do?
Ooh, that's a great question. I always tell my teammates here that aren't familiar with Minnesota that Maple Grove has everything and anything you can want. Especially as offensive lineman, they got every fast food you can think of, so that's always a plus. But they literally got everything. I used to work at a Sky Zone there, and I used to coach football there. So it's like you got trampoline parks, you got every fast food you can think of, parks. But Jimmy, I'd probably take you to Central Park or Fernbrook Fields. In the wintertime, Central Park is an outdoor ice rink. I don't know if you can skate, but if you're in Minnesota, you got to come play hockey or skate somehow. And then in the summertime, I would say Fernbrook Fields. That's got built my sophomore year of high school. It's like 6 turf fields wide, and that was the spot that I went to in high school. Me and all my buddies would go there, play spike ball, just get some vitamin D. So
Jason, I can skate, I just can't stop. So
yeah,
if you understand, steering a little bit more towards the football side of things. I mean, again, being a fan of the game, who are you a fan of at the next level? Like, is there a particular player that you try to study a little bit so you can maybe take some of their game and add it to your own? Who is that at the next level?
oh, there's a bunch. I'd say the closest one is another Minnesota guy, Joe Alt. Um, Tall, lengthy guy, plays both right and left tackle. Um, Played 15 minutes for me in Maple Grove, around the same age as me.
Hmm.
I love watching him. I love watching Will Campbell. Um, just kind of those younger guys in the NFL that are kind of starting to step in their own shoes and make a name for themselves. But I would say Joe Alt for sure. Just his mobility, his ability to anchor, his length that he uses. So yeah, him for sure.
Cool. I love that, man. Obviously, some young, talented guys who you kind of grew up around and are playing right now in the NFL. But I know, of course, you're trying to get there yourself. As we close up shop, let's say it once again, man. What does scouts need to know about you with the rest of the games that you have this season? What are we to expect? And what do you bring to the table as a prospect? So close with any of your final thoughts.
Yeah, I would say expect a leader. Expect a guy that's going to bring people together in your locker room. That's going to work his tail off every day. It's going to be like a dry sponge essentially, and just soak up every piece of information he can to better his game. You're going to expect the remainder of the season a lot of run game, a lot of dominance on the line of scrimmage, physicality, explosiveness, stuff like that, and then also not be passive, but be technical and pass pro. Great feet, great hand placement, great use of length, anchors, and just stuff like that. And it's going to be exciting to get my name out there and showcase what I can do at a high level this year. So
Well, again, we're looking at a very expensive, very experienced offensive lineman, veteran leader in the locker room also, and adds some versatility, playing both sides of the line. And size is really great. I mean, and that's going to, take you places, give you tons of opportunities at the next level. We're looking at a guy with like a 7 foot wingspan is really nice. Jason, want to wish you all the best this season and beyond. Okay.
awesome. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
Again, I got with me Jason Laliberte Jr., offensive tackle out of St. Thomas. Check this guy out.